So you mentioned that you're a seminarian, so you are in the seminary.
Right.
So for people who don't know, what does that process look like? How long does it take? What exactly is a seminary, or to be a seminarian?
Right, that's a great question. A lot of people, if they do know what a seminary is, they say, well, it's a place where guys go and then they become priests afterwards. And it's kind of oversimplified in that matter. The seminary isn't necessarily built to create priests, right? It's not a factory. You don't just pump guys in and then they become priests. That's not how it happens. You don't just spend time there and then magic, you're a priest, right? It's a place, more than anything, of discernment, which is like trying to figure out what is it that God's calling you to do? What is your vocation? And so in the seminary, you're not being formed to be a priest. You're formed to be a better person and a better child of God, first and foremost. And if God is calling you to be a priest, then by the end of it, you'll be a priest. And if He's not calling you to be a priest, then somewhere along the way, He'll call you out of the seminary, and there's no problem with it. Because at the end of the day, if you're supposed to be a priest, God will call you to be that. And if you're supposed to be something else, God will call you to be that. Here in San Antonio, the way it works is that you must have at least 2 years of philosophy before you start your theological studies. But everybody kind of enters at different stages in their life, so how long it takes to become a priest is very different for everybody. But let's say, for instance, somebody straight out of high school decided they wanted to be a priest, and that's also key. They must have at least their high school. They must be graduated from high school, so over 18, right? So if they come straight out of high school, then it would be 4 years of college or philosophy, and that's to ensure that they have at least a bachelor's degree. So they will have their bachelor's in pastoral ministries with a focus in philosophy. After that, they would do 4 years of theological studies, and in between those 4 years is a year called a pastoral year, where they spend the whole entire year at a parish, just kind of shadowing the priest, seeing what he does, seeing how he lives, more than anything. And it's a great way for the seminarian to experience what his life is like as a priest, and not just a theory of what a priest's life is actually like. So in total, straight out of high school, it's 9 years. And then it varies from person to person. So like if you come into the seminary already having a bachelor's degree but not 2 years of philosophy, then you'll do what they call the pre-theology program, which is 2 years of philosophy before entering theology. So it'll be 2 years plus 4 years plus the 1. Quick maths at 7, right? Mm-hmm. So 7 years. So it really just depends on all the guys. And then it's kind of also just like with regular college, like it doesn't necessarily matter how long it takes you to get there. What matters is if you get there or not, and if that's actually what you're called to do. So if it takes you 9 years, if it takes you 10 years, 12 years, however long it takes you, if God's still calling you to it, that's what's most important.